What's up, you guys? UFO Proof here. And I am joined with our friends Smooth Virus and Sergeant Shill. And we are having tonight's UFO roundtable. Unfortunately, we didn't get to start on time like we wanted to because, well, as you guys know, YouTube has been me lately. So it's been kind of a pain in the ass. Everyone's been having issues with my live, whether it's me on my end or whether it's on your guys' ends. Both of us have been having issues. People not able to sign on, people not able to comment, people not able to join the lives, people getting booted off the lives, me not being able to go live, just all kinds of bull crap. Now, I know I got a email from YouTube telling me that it was like their algorithm and that they're messing with it and that things will be back to normal soon. The computer needs time to learn and all this other crap. And so hopefully everything will be working perfectly very soon. But tonight's roundtable, we're going to be discussing these so-called mystery spheres that, apparently fall out of the sky. Some are landing in people's yards. People are finding them. And there's been a lot of claims to, what they are. Are they UFOs? Are they military? Are they NASA? What are they? And so we're going to go ahead and discuss that. What's going on, Cyrus? Smooth Virus, how you guys doing? Smooth Virus and Sergeant Shill, how you guys doing tonight?
We're good here.
Good. So yeah, let's begin. Let's see who's in the comment section real quick on YouTube so we can say what's up.
Skin Man and Paul so far.
All right, good. Let me take a look. Making sure I got that up so when people do come on, we can say what's up to them. All right. What's going on, Skin Man? What's going on, Paul? How you doing, buddy? See how long it takes the Skin Man, dude? What's going on, Skin Man? It takes forever for anyone to comment on here, man.
Yeah, the chat is kind of slow.
Yeah, the chats are always slow, dude. What's up, Jack? How we doing, buddy?
He's probably in a hotel bathroom, as always.
Probably. What's going on, Paul? Look how long it takes for Paul's comment to pop up. Has it popped up on your guys' yet? What up, Gyro 420? What up, Paul? There his just now popped up, dude. Oh, his must have popped up a while ago if you just saw it.
Yeah, Subjack came there. Yeah. Warren Osmond just now.
Up for me. I see, Warren, and I don't even see that. Look how long it takes for it to pop up on mine, man. What's going on, Warren Osmond? How you doing, brother? This man can't hear you, pal. So I'm gonna lip read for a minute, then drop off as it's 3:41 a.m. here in Southampton, England. Didn't you have a problem hearing us last time?
I don't remember, but
yeah, he had the same problem last time. He couldn't hear, and I'm talking about like anybody.
That's Raphael Rules. What's up, all?
I still don't see Raphael's, man. There he goes, dude.
Yeah, I've got it here.
So you're about 5 or 7 seconds behind on the chat log.
Yeah, I'm like a couple minutes behind everybody, man. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm seeing it at the same time Sarge is.
Yeah, see, that's so weird. And it takes about 5 seconds before I see it. That's how like everyone always like super chat, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I never see everyone always see this shit before I do. That's so stupid. All right, let's see here. All right, so let me get the Hangouts back up. All right, there you guys are.
Nice almost full moon down here, nice and bright tonight.
Yeah, it is. It was like a super moon the other night, man. Like I was, it's must have just passed full moon, and now it's in, it's like going away. So, what up, face like a bum? Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Raphael, you doing good? When I tried to connect, hang on, let me pop up the chats. All right. Yeah.
Here, let's try something. I'm going to send something into the chat, and you tell me when you see it. All right?
There we go. Hang on a second. I gotta pop the chats back. Oh wait, I got the chat popped up right here.
All right,
go ahead.
Okay, I'm sending it now.
Yeah. Ready. What up, Debbie Jacobs? Nope. There you go. I just now see it.
8 seconds.
Dude. 8 seconds, man. Can you believe that? It's an 8-second delay, dude. Oh my god, that's terrible. What up, Frank? How you doing, buddy? Raphael says, when I try to connect, also feed pops up for a split second and tells me to reconnect. I think you have to keep trying, man. But obviously the link's not up there now. But when that does happen, you just have to keep trying. Apparently, that's what everyone's having problems with. Nick, cool. You remember? Thanks. I'm good, Kyle. You okay, bud? Yeah, I'm doing good, buddy. Just a little pissed off because of the stupid YouTube, and it messes with our whole little lineup and everything. But anyway,
13 viewers so far, man. It's
sweet, man,
lining up tonight.
I was hoping that it would be a little better tonight if we got started a little earlier, but what can you do? What do we get started at 7:30? Just chilling with my Rasta man, bro, Mr. Cheese. This is sweet, dude. Yeah, Nick. There was just it's always something, and like and now we just got it timed out to having an 8-second delay, man. I'm out. Be happy. My data is pants may roll on Wednesday when they get their arses out to sort my Wi-Fi G's in a little bit. All right, buddy. Good luck, Warren.
Translation.
Gotta love all that British slang. My data is pants.
Well, Chavioso, how you doing, buddy? All right, so let's get started on this. All right. So who wants to start it off, man? Well, you know what? Let's start with since I have it popped up on screen. Let's go ahead and start with the Hopkinsville goblin story, because I already have that popped up sitting on screen, so I could share that instantly. So, Cyrus, why don't you go ahead and take the lead on this one?
Okay, so I did a bit of research into this a couple of years ago, because I actually remember reading about this in like a UFO comic book. And I had a lot of presumptions about what kind of case this was. Real simply, and I'm just going to read this off of Wikipedia real quick. It's called the Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter, aka the Hopkinsville Goblins case, or the Kelly Green Man case. It was a claimed close encounter with extraterrestrial beings in 1955 near Kelly and Hopkinsville in Christian County, Kentucky, United States. Ufologists regard it as one of the most significant and well-documented cases in the history of UFO incidents, while skeptics say the reports were due to the effects of excitement and the misidentification of natural phenomena such as meteors and owls. Psychologists have used the alleged incident as an academic example of pseudoscience to help students distinguish truth from fiction. So on the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children. That's important. Now, see, that's one thing I assumed, that most of the people in the house were adults, but in fact, most of the people present were in fact children. So they arrived at the Hopkinsville police station, claiming that small alien creatures from a spaceship were attacking their farmhouse, and they had been holding them off with gunfire for nearly 4 hours. 2 of the adults, Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor, Elmer and Billy Ray.
Oh God!
see why you make all kinds of assumptions about what was going on?
Did he have a mullet?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he had a mullet, dude.
Claimed they had been shooting at 12 to 15 short, dark figures who repeatedly popped up to the doorway or peered into the windows. Concerned about a possible gun battle between local citizens, 4 city police, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police from the nearby U.S. Army Fort Campbell drove to the Sutton farmhouse located near the town of Kelly in Christian County. Their search yielded nothing apart from evidence of gunfire and holes in windows and door screens made by firearms. Residents of the farmhouse included Glennie Lankford, her children, Lonnie, Charlton, and Mary, 2 sons from a previous marriage. Oh, okay. We don't need to know everybody's names. The next day, his neighbors told officers that the 2 families had packed up and left, after claiming the creatures had returned about 3:30 in the morning. The family's claims received widespread coverage in local and national press. Earlier articles did not refer to little green men. The color was later added to some newspaper stories. So the important bit is when you hear people talk about little green men, this is the very first time that term had appeared in the media. So anytime that you hear little green men coming out of flying saucers, this is the story that began all of that. That's so this case had a big effect on pop culture.
Well, that's interesting too, you know, that you would think, you know, everyone thinks, oh, little green men, so they're talking about Martians and stuff like that. However, they never mentioned little green men coming from Mars, you know, and being Martians. This obviously is where the term little green men come from. It's from this story. This went, oh, Cyrus, when was the date of this again?
August 21st, 1955.
Oh yeah, so that's real early in ufology, you know, UFO lore. That's like near the beginning of it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share the screen with everybody so you guys can see what we're talking about here. Okay, so these little guys, let's see here. I love his lame joke. Orchestrated Madness says Kyle's being real hooterific again. Hooter. Wah wah. All right, man. So these are these little guys, man. Now, so this is the creatures that supposedly attacked the Farmville or the house, and you can see them shooting out the window. Now, these yokels, these hillbillies.
I'll see, careful. That's what I thought too. Hillbillies isn't really accurate. Yokels maybe, but hillbillies, I don't know.
These guys are straight up slack-jawed yokels, dude, all right? I mean, look at these guys, dude.
I will say that one thing that I thought about that you know, when I read about this was this must have been a bunch of hillbillies, you know, up in the hollow, up in the holler,
right?
And you know, they all got into the shine.
They were making shine, dude. You know.
Yeah, they were all hallucinating. But actually, I did some research. It turns out that both families are pretty religious, and they didn't drink. So
well, see, that has a big
probably
impact.
Not drunk. Also, the part of Kentucky where this happened is pretty flat. Kentucky. And actually, I found the aerial footage of the actual site, and they're not in a hollow. It's all like farmland.
You know, I mean, like, look at these dudes, man. And you know, the thing is that
Elmer and Billy Ray,
right? They're saying they're being attacked by these little guys right here, and that they had a battle for 4.5 hours. All right. And I'm just gonna say that I think more or less when you have uneducated people out in the middle of nowhere and they see something they're not quite sure, but someone had just read a story about, you know, some spaceship, you know, and them damn flying saucers, you know, that they see something, they don't know what it is. Something that's just like, you know, more of shadows than anything, something moving in the shadows. And they're just like, Paul, get your gun, you know, and they got to go run out there and they just start shooting at whatever. I mean, these guys, this is just what happens when you're uneducated and you don't.
Or you're a little kid.
Or you're a little kid, you know, little kids have wild imaginations, and then kids with wild imaginations come screaming, Paul, the aliens have landed, you know. Then Paul comes out with his fucking shotgun and just starts shooting out at anything, you know. It's just like, what the hell are you shooting at, you know? Like, any person would have a brain would know, yeah, just don't go start shooting out in the wild. You could hit somebody could be out there walking, you know. But these guys are just, unless they're seriously think they're aiming at some alien, I mean, like, it just doesn't make sense. These guys, all of a sudden, also I heard that these aliens were so-called bulletproof, like magic.
Yeah, that's kind of the one thing I can't quite explain. I did find out that there actually was a documented meteor fall that night, and one of the adults, I forget if it was Elmer or Billy Ray,
I just love that.
he went out to the well or something to get water, and he saw a bolide, a fireball meteor, go overhead. And at the time of the press, the UFO thing was like a brand new story. So all the there's a lot of tabloid media, quote unquote, about UFOs flying. Well, it would have been probably flying saucers back then. So he came back and told all the little kids about it, and then the little kids started to get freaked out. And I am making an educated guess here, but I'm speculating. But I'm guessing that the little kids got freaked out, and as the little kids got more and more freaked out, they got the adults freaked out. And
no, that makes
the story
sense.
and now the story that some of the skeptics are saying is that it could have been a pair of horned owls, which, God, there's millions of horned owls here. I've seen horned owls right here in the District of Columbia, so there's definitely a bunch of them out there in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And they might have seen one and thought it was one of these little goblin things and just freaked out and started shooting at every squirrel, chipmunk, horned owl, possum,
like, I think,
anything that moved, they were shooting at it.
I think that, okay, so you so Elmer's out there, he's fetching a pail of water, all right? He's feeding the mules, whatever he's doing.
I think they were raising chickens. I'll show you a picture in a minute. It makes me think they were raising chickens.
He sees a fireball fly overhead, and what's in the media lately? UFO stories of aliens coming. You know, the day the Earth stands still, all this stuff. And so he sees this fireball. He doesn't know what it is. He's like, "Oh my God, it's a sign from the Lord," you know. And he goes and he tells the kids, "I just saw this magnificent light fly across the sky." And that kid goes back upstairs and he's reading, you know, UFOs today. Sees it in his serial magazine, you know. It goes, "Oh, Paul, it was a spaceship, right? It was glowing red and then disappeared," you know. And so all of a sudden the kids are telling each other, "Oh my God, a spaceship must have flown over a spaceship." And then they're like, "What if it's an alien?" And then they're looking out the window, "I see an alien," you know. And then they're running down screaming, "Paul, we seen an alien." And he's like, "Oh shit, you know, I knows it. I know some aliens is coming. You know, they want my water and my land." So there goes and grabs the gun, and now he's scaring the crap out of everyone. Yeah, I mean, like, who? One of these guys could be brain damaged, and they're like, "No, I seen it. I swear to God, I seen it." And you know, and back then they didn't even know what fucking psychology was. You know, they're like, "Well, Billy Ray seen it. You know, so I've seen it too. You know." Then they all just, and then they're just kind of shooting at fucking whatever the fuck they see out there, dude.
He was he was cock blocking a cousin.
Right? Exactly, man. He's trying to get up with old Betty Lou, and she like shot him down, you know, and he's all pissed off, you know, so he's got to go take it out on these imaginary aliens, you know.
No, I'll do a screen share. I'll do a screen share real quick.
Go ahead.
I found the actual site where all this happened.
Let's take a look.
I'm kind of curious if this story wasn't in part maybe a basis behind the creation of the McPherson tapes all those years later.
I think it might have been.
There's some facts that are like loosely related, you know, the engaging of the aliens and such, you know.
Yeah, the shooting at the shotguns at them, locking themselves in the house. It seems like they might have read the story or heard the story or whatever, and then decided that they're going to try to recreate the story,
like a close facsimile, or you know, it was like maybe the foundation of what they you know, the behind the story that they you know, ended up portraying. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, here's what the town looks like in 2016. This is the town of Kelly in Kentucky, and if you zoom in, you got this is the road. This is actually the Kelly Hopkinsville road. Now they built this other road, and they actually built an interstate off to the east since 1955, and the railroad tracks were there in 55. So you see this house right here with the circular driveway.
Yeah.
This right here, this empty lot, is where the house was.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you go to historic aerials, here's the same the same imagery, but in 2010, so only 7 years ago, that house was still there.
I see.
And if we can actually go back to 1950, 5 years before the
Wow.
case, there's the house. There's another structure behind it. I'm not real sure what that is. But if you look over here, there's some small structures over here. That looks like, I think these people were tenant farmers and they're raising chickens, is what I think.
You think those were coops?
Once again, I think they're coops. Well, I grew up in Virginia, man. I grew up in the country. People raise chickens out there, man.
Yeah,
I believe wasn't the property a rental property, or am I?
Yeah, I think it's rental. I think they were tenant farming. Yeah, but you can see, like, look across the street. That looks like a barn, and like right up the road here, that's not actually not, because this is a small house. It's not big. Only a couple hundred yards away, there's another house. So if there had been a giant gun battle right here, the neighbors would have heard it because it's literally right down the street. I mean, that house is right there, the little farmhouse.
And we're talking, what they said, 4 hours. They continue to fight these things off. You know,
exactly.
Can you take another look around, like the area more, if you can? Are there any other homes or anything by?
Yeah, there's another one. There's another house.
There's another house.
We can probably measure that distance.
I don't know if you're able to highlight the house itself and maybe zoom out from that original image. I don't know.
I can zoom in on the other house. That's definitely a house. There's the home. There's the home of the witnesses. That's where everything happened, right there. There's actually, you can even see a car.
Oh wow!
Looks like the road is dirt. And then the other house. Let's pull up. This road is probably still here. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. The house is still there. All right, so measure distance.
And this image here that you're using is...
So it's 1,200 feet. It's 1,200 feet away.
Oh,
and it looks like about the same. That's definitely, like, if you're even shooting off something little like a 22, you'll hear it from 1,200 feet away.
Yeah, and you know that these guys got double barrel shotguns, all right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Definitely. So that makes me think that... And apparently there was a lot of sensational press at the time, and they hammed it up a whole lot. So I don't think there was a giant gun battle. I dispute that.
You know, now how did this get reported?
The way I've always read it was that a bunch of little green men tried to get into the house. I do remember there was like...
how did it get reported? Like, who called the police? Who called the what? What happened?
I think the police probably pulled the press in. And the story kind of went nationwide.
No. How did the police find out?
Oh, they called the police. They actually got in their car and fled. They fled the house and drove to the police department in, I think, Hopkinsville. And the police followed them back up to the house up there in Kelly.
And brought all the military and everybody?
I think the military showed, well, yeah. Well, look. When you grow up in a small town and there's not much going on, there's a bunch of bored cops with nothing to do, and like, hey, there's an alien invasion going on up in Kelly, man.
Right?
Holy crap! Everybody, let's go, go!
What about all those videos that are coming out with those? I think they call them mandrakes or something like that. With these, it looks like it's a person wearing some kind of mask with big ears, and they always catch them on rooftops scurrying. Usually in the IR, they catch them. Mandrakes,
all started from this case.
Yeah.
But you know, I think this is one of the cases in the UFO literature where you have, they're not lying. I mean, the witnesses sincerely believe that this was real, but it's a case where they're sincere. But it's like, personally, my opinion is this is a case of mass hysteria. But they're not lying. They actually aren't trying to pull a hoax. They really believe that this happened to them. But
you know, yeah, I mean, like, maybe. I mean, I think more or less that they believe that it happened to them. Kind of like when kids or whatever go to a graveyard at night and try to conjure up a ghost and shit, and they see a ghost, and they all see
exactly.
You know, that's how much I think they actually believe in it. You know, not like, you know, they would put their life on it. Well, some idiots might, but You know, I believe it in that sense that they might actually believe it happened, you know, but I don't see, I mean, I don't think that they actually saw anything. I think they were shooting at shadows, shooting at owls or
Yeah,
what
that's
have
my
you,
belief as well.
you know, and because I mean, like how if it is a great horned owl, you're telling me with all those shotguns that they couldn't hit one freaking owl. I mean, owls are gigantic, dude, you know, comparatively speaking. I mean, they're huge. You'd think that there'd be some a feather or something, you know, but I don't know. I think, you know, now that I know that there was a lot of kids, um, then it was I think it's more like a you know, just messing with the kids' minds, man. But let's move on. Thank you for sharing that, Cyrus. That's awesome.
The name I was
Sergeant Shill,
the name I was
you want to
referring to was the rake is the creature. You know, that new trend of that same storyline, basically, that's being
I've actually
uploaded.
I've never actually heard that before. The
I got
rate.
it up on a screen on the Google search, but yeah,
Mm.
it's
Well, let's move on to the mystery spheres, and you want to go ahead and start it with that?
You talking about the Betts sphere?
Yeah, go ahead and go. Why don't you go ahead and take the lead on that one?
All right. Well, let's. Spoiler alert. It's been debunked. It has been debunked for a while, actually. Um, it turns out that it was basically a ball check bearing made by the Bell and Howell Bridgeport Company out of 431 stainless and constructed in the exact same method as what the Navy lab results returned when they had examined
So, well,
the part.
break down the story for them first.
Well, yeah.
Say it like they've never heard it before.
So basically, it turns out the story is about 3 years prior to this family discovering this ball after storm damage and fire.
No, just break down the story, like what happened first.
Yeah, well, this family they went to go inspect this damage to their property, and they came across that orb. It was about 8 inches in diameter and about 21 pounds in weight, and it was like a sphere. And they thought nothing of it. They just basically almost like a souvenir brought it home. And for the first 2 weeks, there was nothing. But it was after that first 2 weeks they started, noticing certain things, like it would emit a buzzing sound when one of the family members would play guitar, or it would roll independently on its own on the floor, or it appeared to, at least, to move under its own independent control. So there was a gentleman, news got out of it, and there was a gentleman who's an alleged doctor. It turns out he's not a real doctor, but his name was Carl Wilson. He came from the Holistic Institute. So
there's the key word.
Yeah. I even put it in quotes on my notes here. So based on his 6-hour study of the object, very intense study, I'm sure the budget was huge.
Yeah, probably broke.
But he discovered that this mystery sphere, was emitting a powerful magnetic field and was transmitting a radio signal.
Well, of course.
But he had no. There's no. I did a quick search, but a pretty thorough search just the same. And there's no documentation, anything relating to his testing, how he tested for it, the results of it. So there's no way to verify even him testing it available online that I could have found. So, that went into that.
Let me ask you, why did they think this was who said it was a UFO? Did they ever even say that, or did they just think it was a mystery sphere they found from nowhere?
Well, it was basically, they found the sphere, and it was basically, what's his name? Through talk and inquiry and such, that alleged Dr. Carl Wilson that brought it into, I guess, into the spotlight, if you will, and this is during the time that Hynek was active in the UFO phenomenon. So, Hynek actually got involved at one point and wanted to examine it. This is prior to the Navy's examination of the ball. And but they couldn't settle on if the Betts were going to meet him up in New York or something like this, or if he didn't want to travel down. Like he didn't. Neither one of them were vested to travel the distance required for him to examine it.
That's because no one wants to waste the money on something that's
exactly. Well, it turns out that Hynek was going to be at a convention in Louisiana, later on that month. So the Betts family did, go there and meet him and show it. Okay. And their initial impressions at first was like it was one of those rocket fuel bladders, that you see, turning up and such. But they had to discount that because it had none of the apertures typically associated with those cylinders. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
so they were, they couldn't explain it, but they didn't really lean towards it being an extraterrestrial thing, because at one point prior to that meeting with Hynek, there was an artist that heard the story, and he recalled 3 years prior to them finding it that he had an assortment of these. He got these scrap balls, for an art project, and he had loaded them up on his car, and he had some of them on a roof rack because he didn't have enough room in the car, and he had lost a couple in transit from where he had picked them up, from where he had purchased them to where he was going. And the theory was, because he was in that same area that he had drove by, he used the actual same road, that it was one of these, but this Carl Wilson is the Holistic Institute is saying no, this is something else. But anyway,
and so he's saying that it's keep telling the story. I'm just showing everybody what it is.
So basically, at this point, they decided to hand it over to the Navy for examination. And then the Navy had it for a little bit, and they examined it, and they did meteorological testing. I'm not sure if I'm butchering the word, but seeing what kind of metals it was, its construction. They X-rayed it, electron microscoped it, etc., etc., and they produced a report, stating that it was a sphere, of X diameter, X weight. I think it was 21.36 pounds or something like that, and it was made out of 431 stainless steel, and it had it had a somewhat hollow interior filled with metal particulate of a certain composition and such. So they had that report in hand, and with that, in conjunction with the artist's story and the dimensions, and he still had the artwork, and they matched them up. And then the company that I had mentioned earlier, Bell and Howell of Bridgeport, they came across the story and they said, yeah, we're the ones who manufacture it, down to the triangular logo that was imprinted on the ball. And it turns out it's a ball check valve. And the reason why it would appear to do that rolling and stuff is because of the type of interior it was. If it was on a hard level surface or whatever, the slightest little thing would make its momentum go. It's a trait that is naturally occurring to that type of ball by the way they had made it. It's like it's a side effect, if you would, I guess, right? And so yeah, that was the debunking of it. It turned out to actually be that ball from that artist. The artist's name, if I understood it correctly, was James Sterling Jones. And now that's kind of a neat, Sterling, and we're talking about 431 stainless.
Yeah,
but
so, now that's just one case, but there are a number of these cases.
Well,
correct.
The curious thing is it was like after they didn't report anything after the first 2 weeks, right? And it was only after having it examined by I believe it was it just before or just after? No, just after examining. No, just before the Navy, I believe. They started, claiming like almost poltergeist-like activity, and this is what really spooked them, and allegedly, But I think that was just, I don't know, added to the story, to be honest with you.
So these might be some of the things that people find, these so-called mystery spheres, is something like these guys right here, and that literally fall from. Yeah, these things fall from space, And then people are like, oh, it's a fucking UFO. You know, I'm like, obviously, I mean, this is the most, you know, rust bucket UFO ever. This is like a Model T for UFOs, dude. It's like the first one ever made if this was a UFO. I mean, look at this thing, dude. And people get fooled by these. And I want to know how someone like Dr. Hynek even thought for a second that this was anything, you know, UFO related. I mean, it just doesn't seem. I mean, obviously, it's probably why he didn't travel, but he still probably thought it was interesting. But you know,
Well,
these now there's this other story. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's another story, and let's see if our friend. Oh, let's check the comment section. Our friend Orchestrated Madness had pointed me to, and let's see if he's still on here. Orchestrated Madness, yeah, there he is. Why did that dumbass throw it in the field? He said it fell off a truck. Do you think the heat from the fire made it magnetized? What? I don't think heat from fire can make anything magnetized. You guys know anything like that?
Heat can weaken magnetism.
I was going to say he would demagnetize it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it can ever make anything magnetized. But
yeah, that's for sure. Heat does weaken magnets. That's a fact. But the thing is, I think maybe the metal particulate and the force of rolling over time and everything like that, yeah, maybe it did cause himself maybe not so much maybe magnetic, maybe static, you know, because static can emulate magnetic to an extent, you know what I mean? You know,
a very small extent, but yeah, I get what you're saying. You know,
like a charge, you know, maybe a magnetic charge from that, you know,
possibly. Kara UFO, that's it. So there's another case with well, not really a sphere, but it's more or less a tiny UFO that some children found in China, or I believe, where was that? Orchestrated Madness. I'm gonna look it up right now. Let me get the
I found a photo of another one too.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
There you go. Let me see here. I want to try to get some images of this Kara UFO incident. Okay, here we go, you guys. So now this is a very interesting case. Apparently these guys were here, let me pull up go ahead, Cyrus, throw this back up real quick.
Hey, in 15 minutes on the East Coast, it's your birthday.
Ah, sweet. I forgot about that. All right, so now, Cyrus, did this one fall out of space?
I keep muting myself. Yeah, this fell out of space. It fell down in Wyoming. This is actually a pressurized liquid helium tank out of a rocket. So using liquid helium to pressurize the fuel lines, the first stage of a rocket, or it might be the upper stage actually. And when that stage burns up and re-enters the Earth's atmosphere, because of the round shape of this tank, it actually survives the re-entry while the rest of the rocket stage breaks up and these ball things come falling back down. And it's because of the shape, because it's aerodynamic, it doesn't burn up.
Burn up. Now, is this the actual impact crater from this thing?
Yep.
Wow, look at that. That's almost nothing.
Some of them are made out of Kevlar too, and carbon fiber mixes. Like they're fibrous.
I've seen pictures. They have insulation because it's liquid helium, so it has to be kept super cold. There's a layer of insulation around the tank, and it looks like all this fibrous stuff. I was trying to find a picture of that. I'm sure if I keep looking, I'll find one.
Well, here, let me show you. Let me tell you guys about this Kara UFO. Now, I actually don't know too much about the story itself, but just reading just the basics of it, I saw a couple things. There's not too much on it that's too detailed. But can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can. It's
I got you.
It hasn't hit YouTube yet, though.
All right.
It's
So
still on Cyrus's.
this is the Kara UFO, and apparently these little kids caught this thing as it was flying around by itself and had it for whatever for a little while, and it ended up just flying away. Now here you can see there's a little detail, a little drawing of it, and how it's chasing the kids around. They're kind of playing with it, and then it has some kind of symbols on the bottom. Almost looks like a record, you know, looking at it from the bottom. Now I don't know if this is a real picture with the actual UFO. I mean, I have no idea, but
If that's it, it's not very impressive now, is it?
Yeah, very
not that
small.
was
Very
impressive.
small.
You know, look, now what it had some designs on it that actually look like Chinese designs, you know. This almost looks like maybe hills or possibly a dragon or some sorts. It's got some kind of holes in it, some kind of I don't know if that's supposed to be writing or something. I have no idea. But it's an interesting case. I guess these kids had it for a little while.
Those
And then
inscriptions remind me of the Dropa stones.
Of the Dropa stones, really, I don't see any similarity between the Dropa stones for the.
No, they don't.
Really?
No, not necessarily like a similarity in that, like this. You know what I mean? They just, to me, when I see that picture that you have up now, I think Dropa stone. You know, because it's just because of the disc-like thing and you know the
Probably 'cause it
grooves
just-
and
yeah.
and they say, you know, they
Yeah,
say that it's supposed to be like the Dropa stones. You're supposed to be allegedly be able to play them or something. I think is part of the myth behind them.
Yeah. It's kind of cool though. Oh, here's like an an older photograph or perhaps story of it. It's 1972. A UFO was captured in Japan. Oh, they all sitting here like playing with this little UFO. I mean,
I gotta love all that sensational Japanese headlines.
oh, I know, I love it, dude.
Hey man, we're sitting at 21 viewers.
You know, so these appear to happen all over the place, man. Now here's a Kecksburg one looks like, but I mean, you can actually find stories of these happening. And here's the one guy. See how they're always related. Oh, that's nice.
Morning, Cons.
Oh, look at this one, dude. Oh, Cons is on here. What's up, Cons? These dudes are cool looking, dude. Look at these guys, man. And these guys were on a little island. Ancient statues at Nuka reveal possible race of extraterrestrials. Very interesting. Look at these little guys. Now I'm going to say, well, how come, you know, people say, okay, well, these guys have to be alien. Well, isn't it possible that perhaps it's just an artist? You know, I mean, artists like to draw and create weird fucking sculptures and stuff, you know, and like
an artist's interpretation, like a
yeah,
Picasso of their time.
Correct. You know, I mean, look at that. That's fucking weird. Look at this bone thing. What the hell is that? There's another one.
Yummy.
What the
It
hell
looks
is
like
that?
it had a hole drill in it.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah. Is it a bone? Are you able to blow that up, Kyle?
Yeah, here, hang on.
You know what's kind of interesting is the condition of the skeletons they find in those cenotes in Mexico and in Central America. Those, you know, those like those underwater caves that have big holes in the middle of the jungle, and you access.
Oh, those are so cool, dude.
The skeletons in those are just so incredibly well preserved. You know,
it's so weird.
The thing that fascinates me about the cenotes is if you map them all, it creates a semicircle that goes across the northern part of the Yucatan Peninsula. What it turns out is the cenotes are actually the edge of the Chicxulub impact structure that impacted 65 million years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs.
Well, that's pretty incredible
and
stuff.
Also, those cenotes, they also they had to be. It's just interesting that now this is where they got their water from, because they didn't have.
So they got sick too.
To get their water from, and so like it. Thank God that those things even existed, or those civilizations would have never existed, and it just so happens that wherever there was they would always be able to have one like somewhere nearby. I wonder sometimes if they weren't possibly created, by okay, well, we know there's underground water here, and maybe they don't know how to pump up water from a well. Perhaps they just dug down and they didn't make it like a like we would today, where you'd finish the walls with concrete or something like that, but just dug through and let it fill up, like possibly a way like a cistern or something,
like dammed it up and
yeah, like it just so happens that they just happen to have one like wherever they go. They're like,
well, I know research. Like I've seen a lot of like documentaries on this stuff, but I know there's research saying that they ran into a lot of trouble, these civilizations, with these cenotes in the aspect that they would do so many sacrifices into them and such that they poisoned their water systems, and they had to keep going further and further for water resources, fresh water resources, and that was a big factor in the demise in some of these civilizations, and limiting in size and such. But you imagine, like, you're drinking the water from the same place, like you just slaughtered 25 kids,
That's probably where they thought. They're like, yeah, throw the body in there. That'll purify it, dude.
Yeah,
throw one of those virgins in there.
It was like
the water.
a complete 180 of what we would be like. Like even I think the most fragile of minds would be aware not to poison your own water supply like that.
Exactly.
And they did it en masse. There's so many skeletons in these cenotes and such, and they go on for miles like a labyrinth. It's incredible. If you want, pull up some imagery. Maybe we share it with some of the guys online.
Yeah, we got some. We already are. Are you not watching?
Oh, my bad, man. No, I was.
Oh, you're probably watching YouTube.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Hang out.
You can see the. I mean, there's other cenotes here that probably aren't associated. You can definitely see the edge of the impact structure.
Look at that. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, that's Chicxulub.
I wonder why that has that circle in it, and what was the point of that? Like, is that natural? Do you think maybe these are natural sinkholes?
Yeah, so, it's the edge of an. No, it's an impact crater from an asteroid.
But you think it's what, like a lava tube, like formed from like molten from the impact, and it just.
Well, you know what I think? If okay, have you guys ever seen the Dead Sea, around the Dead Sea?
Yeah.
If you look at the edge of the Dead Sea, what it's covered with is sinkholes, massive sinkholes surround the outer edges of the Dead Sea. So perhaps this impact crater was causing the same kind of effect, where massive sinkholes appeared right around the perimeter of the.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the southern area of the Dead Sea, or what am I thinking of from the Old Testament? Sodom and Gomorrah. Isn't that where Sodom and Gomorrah were supposed to be?
Correct. Right off the side of the Dead Sea, and
there's huge underground aquifers in the continental United States, like the size of like multiple states, lakes, like deep underground. Underwater systems throughout the planet, man. Can you imagine having the ability to explore these? Like, what is there? Is it a completely different world? Is it like a Jules Verne, incandescent lighting, you know, natural lighting, civilization underneath there. You know what I mean? You know,
like a bioluminescence, or
yeah, you know, who knows?
you
You know, you
and you
know,
want to know what's cool is those caves in Mexico where they now supposedly like where they got like the not those so-called metal library or whatever, which is complete bullshit, but um these cave systems, I'm watching these cave divers and you know spelunkers or whatever they're called, and these guys, I'm seeing one where they went in I don't know if it was in Central Mexico or if it was in South America, but I saw one where they went, I think, almost like a mile, maybe 2 miles cave, swimming in water, and they're underneath the water. Stalagmites and stalactites are everywhere. I mean, it just looks like just
crystal
daggers.
clear too.
Yeah, I mean, crystal clear, just gorgeous. And they're going like a mile into the stuff, and yet they're still finding human-made things. They're finding like pottery or skeletons or whatever's, you know, they'll find like bones of jaguars and just like I mean stuff that went, you know, so like
it's from the last glaciation period where the sea level was much lower. So that cave was on the side of a hill and people were living in it.
You know, and I mean like these things go so far back. That's got to be terrifying to go back so far, so deep into a cave like that. But I mean, like some of these ones, so they weren't always full of water. You know, they obviously had to be empty. Yeah, they had to be empty at some time, and that's, you know, I wonder how long ago that was that people were going back in there, and because they were saying that some of these caves were like the one I'm thinking of, I can't remember, but I think it was like literally like 10,000 years ago that this had to be filled up, you know, or possibly even before that. And it just, you know, it's like what were people doing all the way back in these caves? Like, why would you go that far back there? I mean, what did you think you were going to find? Food? You know, what's the point of going back? I'm talking, you know, and it's hard for us today. Okay, say it wasn't filled with water, and it was completely dry. Going that far back into a cave, I mean, just with you got to think you got to have like a team, because just you have to have the lighting, right? After so far, there's not going to be any light, so you're gonna have to bring how many torches to last you for how long? I mean, how long was a torch going to burn for? And it's not like they give you a good amount of light. So it just makes me, it's just like, man, like, did they have whole teams of ancient men going back there? And one of them just carrying just a bunch of unlit torches, and they would just keep relighting them. And, you know, it just makes me think, sometimes I wonder, did they have a way to create light that we don't know about? I mean, I see so many things where it seems like they would have to have a light source to create some of the stuff or to go some of these places. But at the time they wouldn't. At the time they would have had oil lamps, or they would have had torches or something that simply wouldn't have worked for what they're doing. Like when they're building out places like Darren Kuyu and stuff like that. You know, yeah, you know, I mean, how did they, you know, have you guys ever heard anything? I've only heard one report of ancient lights. And that was in oh God, it's a famous step pyramid in Mexico. What is that?
Teotihuacan?
No, not Teotihuacan.
Pyramid of the Moon, Pyramid of the Sun.
No. Chichen Itza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cancun.
Oh no. Oh, maybe it is Chichen Itza. It's the one where they found the tomb that looks like where it looks like he was in a rocket.
That's
Oh God, that's gonna drive me crazy.
Hold on, I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. I can't even. That's gonna drive me crazy now. Oh, we'll have to wait for Robert to find it. Okay, so while he's looking that up, I'm gonna take a look at the comments on YouTube, see what we got going on here. What up, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
Imagine that.
What's going on, Paco? What's going on, Cons? You guys doing? James doing good? You find anything yet? What up, Harry Toe?
I'll throw this up there real quick. It's
Go ahead. He's looking.
I don't know if it's actually real. It's not an underwater cave, but this is the Sarawak chamber.
Hang on a second, Cyrus. Is it just me or does fucking Sergeant look completely insane, dude? Oh, I just lost his picture. Look. All I see is the frozen picture of him, dude. He looked just creepy as hell. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say this is you made me think of it. I read about this in a book about cave exploring in the 1980s. This was actually discovered in like the mid 1970s. But this is Sarawak Chamber in Borneo, and that you see that's a guy, standing there, and that little tiny black dot all the way in the background is a person. So this thing is the size of a football stadium, man. You could like play a Dallas Cowboys Redskins game. You could probably fit the Dallas stadium in there easy. I could fly one of my drones around there, no problem.
Oh, no problem at all, dude. I mean, look at that. That's insane. Look at the. Can you see the little black dot all the way in the back against the wall? Yeah, look at him, dude. Holy shit, dude.
It's huge.
That is insane, man. Wow, dude. I mean, that's gigantic, dude.
It's like, and the tunnel to get to it is it's like a quarter mile or a half mile long.
Oh my God!
You have to go through to get in. That's why you didn't discover it until like 40 years ago.
Looks like we got Sarge back.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi went down, man.
Oh man, he lost his Wi-Fi. Oh crap! All right.
Yeah, I'm on my alleged 4G, but I just rebooted it. I should be able to get back on through my computer in a minute. I apologize. I couldn't pull that up for you.
No, I'll pull it up. Let's see here. Got it, yeah, because that's gonna drive me crazy if I can't figure out that stupid.
In chat, they're saying it's Palenque, Mexico. The lid of Pacal's tomb showing him flying a rocket ship.
Pacal, that's it.
Yep,
that's it.
There you go.
Now, in Pacal's tomb, I heard that when they dug down, and it took them 4 years to excavate just the material that was inside the corridor that leading down to the tomb, that there was some kind of a light source that was still lit up in there, but I don't know. They never described like what the light source was or anything like that. But there was supposed to be some kind of light source down in the tomb of Pakal. But of course, this did come from Von Daniken when he was kind of talking shit about the metal book, the metal, you know what I'm saying? So that's what a thorn in his side that is, dude. that book. I mean, or yeah, what was that? Gold of the Gods. That's right. Yeah, Gold of the Gods, man. Uh, and they're talking about the metal library. You know, I mean, that what a thorn in the side of Von Daniken, because he had done so well with Chariots of the Gods and stuff that, I mean, the you know, when you just and the thing is, okay, so this is what I don't like about the metal library, that this so-called this cave or whatever, this the story comes from one dude, and people are still looking for this, all right? And the story comes from one dude who claims that he jumped into a lake or jumped into a river, the Amazon, and he found an underwater passage. Okay, so you jump into the water and you swim through a cave and you go in through the cave and then you come up and then there's air. All right. And he said that he had found it and like he was out swimming and then he found the cave. Then he went and explored the cave and found the metal library and with all this weird writing on it and all this other crap. Okay. And what I want to know is, you're saying that this little boy back in the 1950s or 60s went swimming in the Amazon alone, jumped into the water, swam to the side somehow, found an opening that he decided to swim into, not worried that he's going to drown or anything, and just happened to have a flashlight in his mouth or something and got up and then explored the cave. Does that make the slightest bit of sense to anybody? I mean,
no, but I do know that guy's daughter is still continuing the search.
Correct. Or well, yeah, there's a guy who originally was searching for it. And his daughter,
he passed away. Yeah, his daughter.
Yes,
yeah.
and his daughter, exactly. Just so people know who you're talking about. Yeah, so we're not I was talking about the actual guy who supposedly found it. All right. There's still researchers researching it, and that's who Sergeant Shill was talking about, a researcher who's still believes that this is real, and his daughter's carrying on this mission trying to find this cave of mysteries or whatever, you know. And it's like, so this kid goes and swims into this cave, gets up in there, and how does he find anyway? How does he see anything? That means he has to have a flashlight with him. That means he has to have a waterproof flashlight with him. Like, you know, like, does that make the slightest bit of sense? He tells this story and the story gets spread around and he can't, you know, he can't show anybody where it's at. And it's just, you know, it's total bull crap. And, you know, he claims that he's going to take everyone there and show them and all this stuff. And, you know, he doesn't, you're telling me this poor kid in wherever they are, Colombia or forget where they were. He says the books were made of metal, like gold and silver and stuff like that. Okay. So this kid's not going to take any of this metal or gold or stuff back with him, you know. Here's Father Krebsby. Now this stuff was made for the father, you know, for Father Krebsby.
I'm guessing that's him with the white beard and stuff.
No, that's not him. That's Father Krebsby.
Okay.
He's just a local priest, and that the townspeople give him stuff like this. They would bring him stuff like that. And Eric Von Daniken tried to claim that this stuff was part from the metal library.
Something's fishy about this, because I'm sitting here looking at this picture, and this looks like this tablet that he's holding looks like Hebrew. And then right here, this looks vaguely like Inca. But to be quite frank, that looks like something I could have whipped up in shop class.
Exactly. And a lot of
Gale Middle School in the 8th grade, man.
A lot of his stuff actually looks like that by the locals of the town or whatever. Or like, it wasn't made. It was like stuff that was made like right then, you know.
I mean, they're trying to get an emotional response out of people by putting all these Hebrew characters, and oh, look, there's Hebrew stuff buried with Inca stuff. So the ancient Israelites must have known the Incas, and it's all.
Well, you know, one thing they do show some stuff that the Father Crespi has that supposedly is Sumerian in origin, and now I totally write it off. Okay, I don't believe it. I think it's fake, or they brought it over for him, something like that. I don't believe that stuff was ever found in Colombia or wherever the hell he was. Okay, I just don't believe that. Now, one thing I do believe is what is it? Oh, guys are going to drive me crazy. Was it the Mega Fuente Bowl?
I don't know.
Yes, I'm trying to remember. I'm just saying it out loud because I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the name correctly. Yeah, it's like the Magna Fuente Bowl. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and what's really interesting about this bowl was found in Peru, and it was found also. A farmer was was tearing up his land and found like some kind of duct work or whatever. What's that called when you have the pipes laid underground for water?
An aqueduct?
No, not an aqueduct. An aqueduct is above ground.
I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, okay. So anyway, they got these, and the things that it's made out of to make water, so they could move water underground, were these gigantic, and these things weigh like a ton each. These giant concrete, or not concrete, stone, just giant stone casings or whatever, where they made these tubes run to transport water. I mean, just moving these things alone would be quite a feat. All right. But while they're excavating these, and these were ancient ones, they found the Magna Fuente bowl, and it's this bowl, and it's ancient as hell. They can tell through carbon dating and everything. This is really old, and it has a bunch of writing on it. And one part of it, what's really interesting about it, is that it does have Sumerian script written on it. All right, and it's been tested by tons of different, academics and specialists, and all of them say that it is in fact authentic, that it is an authentic bowl, and it has Sumerian, proto-Sumerian, Sanskrit or cuneiform text on it. So it's proto-Sumerian cuneiform text, man. So I mean, it's really ancient, and it's actually says it's a prayer bowl. There you go. He's got it. Look at science. Well, Fuente Magna bowl. Oh, did I have to say it backwards? I'm an idiot. But at least I remember the name. Look at that. Now, is that amazing or what? This is found buried in Peru, you guys. What were the ancient Sumerians doing in Peru?
It does look like cuneiform.
It is, they can read it. It's a prayer text, man. So it's praying and blessing stuff. Is that amazing or what? Now, see, they always ask, is it real or fake? Is it real or fake? But all the evidence suggests that it's real. I mean, look at that thing. One, it's ancient as hell, dude. The dude who found it is not out for money or anything like that. He's not even out for publicity. He just found it and took it to the museum.
It's amazing what they could do back then, isn't it?
I mean, what's amazing is that the Sumerians somehow had contact with the Peruvians. I mean, look at, Proto-Sumerian signs. So look at that.
I'm a believer of many prior civilizations. I always have been and always will be. And the chances of a civilization being global in the past, yeah, I could see it. Why not?
I mean, like, think about that. I mean, like, they had to be able to cross the oceans, Absolutely, Shill. They had to be able to. It doesn't make sense. Either the Peruvians went to ancient Sumeria, went to Iraq, or the Sumerians went to Peru. One of those cultures were able to cross the ocean. You know, I mean, like this is proof right there that our timeline is wrong. You know.
Yeah, there's definitely been prior seagoing civilizations. There's no doubt about it. How many of them, I don't know, but there has definitely been those prior.
So who do you think? Let's ask a question. Let's ask everyone on YouTube, you guys. Who do you guys think from ancient times back then? What up, Forerunner? Who do you think would go to the other place first? Do you think the Sumerians went to Peru, or do you think the Peruvians went to Sumeria? Okay, so you guys on YouTube, go ahead and answer. Tell us what your thoughts are. You know, do you think that Sumeria went to Peru, or do you think Peruvians went to ancient Sumeria? I mean, now when I think about it, I got, you know, just trying to consider some stuff. Okay, the ancient Sumerians, who were, you know, supposedly the first civilization, they did have a lot of firsts, you know, in creating stuff. So they were highly skilled in, you know, a bunch of stuff, astronomy, mathematics, you know, government, and shit like that. However, they were not a seafaring people. I don't know if there's any evidence of Sumerian ships of any kind. You know, they didn't live near the water, you know, or near the ocean. I think the closest thing to them would have been, well, probably what like one of the gulfs.
Well, they had the Tigris and Euphrates.
Those are rivers, though.
But leading to the ocean, you know, used as a canalway, just like the Nile was used as a canalway and as shipping. You know, everything that they did and everything they grew, they spent 9 months of the year farming. Everything went through the Nile. That's like a highway, and a highway to the sea. Access to the sea, that'd be like the Mississippi, you know? It gives access to the Gulf and the Gulf to the sea.
Yeah, that's true. However, you know, the Sumerians, there was no documents of them ever, you know, being a seafaring people, like, you know, that they sailed anywhere, you know? I mean, I don't think I know of any Sumerian stuff. There could be, but not that I have heard of, not that I've come across of.
Who is it? The fish? Who's the fish god there that they depict in and around that Sumerian? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the Onas.
They were supposed to represent a seafaring civilization, according to Graham Hancock. I just can't remember the name of them. But they always had the bag.
I'm telling you the name of them. It's the Onas.
Yeah, well, them, you know.
Yes. You know, but I don't think they represented I don't believe they represented a seafaring nation, though.
Well, their stories start with him coming from the sea to teach the people how to hunt or something like this, or the. I'd have to check the reference Graham Hancock, but I'll work on it. I'll get a place to cite it.
All right, let's check the comments on YouTube and see what they say. So Franco is saying, looks like bullshit to me. What looks like bullshit? Oh, I might have been talking about something else. It's easier to get there from Peru to the Middle East. So Franco's thinking that it's easier for the Peruvians to get to the Middle East. So the Peruvians went to the Middle East instead of.
I think he's calling bullshit on the Metal Library.
Who is?
I think he was calling bullshit on the
Metal Library.
Oswaldo was calling bullshit on the Metal Library. Oh
yeah, me too, dude. I mean, that's total BS, dude. I don't buy it for a minute, man. Yeah, giggity says that's a long way to sail. Absolutely, you know. Now the Peruvians, there is some stuff talking about them, you know, traveling out in the sea. So I could see that being more likely than the Sumerians, but of course I don't really.
Well,
I don't
I was
know.
throwing some pictures of it. I remember when I was a kid reading in National Geographic about this guy from Norway named Tor Heyerdahl, who built a raft. I think the Kon-Tiki was the one. It was based on ancient Peruvian technology, and he proved that with their technology they could have sailed all the way to the basically the South Pacific and had contact with Polynesian cultures. And I think he did another one made out of papyrus reeds with ancient Egyptian and proved that they could have. I think it was sailed across the Atlantic or the Indian Ocean. I forget which.
Yeah, you know, I know what you're talking about too. And yeah, they did prove that they could go that far. And because they did it, they actually traveled in their boat and went across the went across one of the oceans or whatever. Didn't the Sumerians trade Tyree purple dye? I believe that they did. I think that was one of their major exports. Oh no, was that? Oh, who was that? One of them did. That purple dye was like a huge, you know, it was like the color of royalty and stuff. I don't know if that was the Sumerians though. It could be though. But you know, trade routes and stuff, you know, silk roads and anything are way different than crossing a fucking ocean. You know, I mean that is such an incredibly difficult feat. I mean, you know, that would have been harder than it was for us to get to the moon. You know, it would have been harder. You know, it would have been comparable. You know, us going to the moon and one of these ancient civilizations crossing the ocean. You could compare that to us, you know, going to the moon. I mean, like, it would have been so impossible. It would have taken just so many different people to, you know, plan this out and to try to understand the logistics of navigating one of the world's oceans, you know.
But you know, obviously somebody has, because there's so much material that's found that well, according to mainstream or whoever, shouldn't be, quote unquote, you know. And the length of times involved, there's no doubt, like I said earlier, how many of these seagoing fairy civilizations there's been in how many multiple paths, I don't know, but there definitely has been. We're not the first.
Now Franco's bringing up an excellent point, you guys. He says they have cocaine and tobacco in Egypt. We got nothing back, so Peru was the link. Absolutely. See, I you know, totally forgot to mention that. That makes perfect sense. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Franco. Now, so how would the Egyptians have cocaine? Tobacco, you could probably get tobacco from Turkey, although I do believe that the tobacco that they studied was American tobacco, which is actually considered the finest tobacco in the world, is American tobacco.
Oh, they traced it back to South America. Yeah.
See, so I you know, I believe that's what I thought. And the cocaine definitely comes from Colombia. Cocaine does not grow anywhere in Africa or anywhere on that side of the world. It grows specifically in South America. And so if the Egyptians had cocaine, then right there, that proves that either they came here or the Peruvians went there. And since you have the Fuente Magna Bull, I think that's another thing that proves that basically it looks like, to me, I would say that the Peruvians went to Sumeria. But, you know, who knows, man? I mean, I think they definitely did. I think they went to, I think that there's enough evidence. I mean, what evidence is there to show that the Sumerians or the, you know, Egyptians, well, maybe not the Egyptians, but Go
Look
ahead.
how look how far the natives on those sparse islands, like the Cook Islands, for example, in the South Pacific, or any of these, you know, really remote islands. It's not just Easter Island that's remote. It's the most remote, but there are plenty of remote islands with people on them, and they travel hundreds, if not 1,000 or so miles on these what we would look at and consider a raft, you know,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
dude, like
navigate it.
the Phoenicians and
Exactly. Yeah, in
yeah,
Fiji and etc. Yeah, exactly. And
Polynesian. No, no,
they
that blows
navigate
my
by looking at the stars. They
mind.
don't even use like instruments.
And the thing is like we navigate by using the stars, but we can only do so much. We can only, we to navigate by the stars, we could use them for going like certain ways and whatever, but there's a lot of stuff that would fuck you up and set you off. And these guys either were able to keep time, all right, and or that's basically it. They, using the stars is one thing, but you have to be able to keep time. And that's how we can, that's the most important thing when it comes to, uh sailing out into the ocean, is being able to keep track of time,
Happy birthday,
Anyway,
man.
see, oh, okay, uh um I gotta get off of here. But yes, thank you. I guess technically it is my birthday now. So but not yet, but for it is for you guys, although technically I still have a couple hours before I would have been born. But
You're time traveling as we speak.
I'm time traveling right freaking now, dude. I love it, dude.
All right,
Yes.
happy birthday, Washington D.C. time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mark. Absolutely, buddy. All right, you guys. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and for Smooth Virus and Sergeant Shield. Thank you guys for having our UFO roundtable. I think it was an awesome discussion. And I'll see you guys back here next week actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow, but make sure that you guys come back and join us, everyone out there in YouTube land, for our next UFO roundtable. And if you guys have any cases or any particular subjects that you would like us to do on the UFO roundtable, just send it in to me. Let me know. You can hit me up on my email, up on Google Hangouts. Facebook is a great one. Let me put out my email real quick.
You should keep it in your lower third maybe next time.
Oh, what a good idea. Absolutely. That's what I'm going to do. Just to keep it out there. Yeah. Okay, so that's out there. And also don't forget, Facebook is another great way to contact me. I don't check my Facebook, so probably not the best way, but that's where it's a good way to send me videos and send me clips and stuff like that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you go and hit the notifications bell. Thank you, Cons. Appreciate it, buddy. How come my Google calendar says November 11th for your B-Day? Because your Google calendar is crazy, dude. It's November 7th. Yeah, so tomorrow, for my birthday, we're gonna have to do something cool, man. We're gonna have to have like a cool little party with everybody on Google Hangouts, man. So I don't know what time I'm gonna do that. Probably around like noon, I think. Yeah, so I think
If you
I'm gonna
can, throw
push
it out
off.
through the Hangouts to us so we have a heads up.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I think I'm gonna do, instead of doing a show tomorrow at 11, I think I'm gonna do it at around noon. And then yeah, that way, like, more people are on it, because you'll still be able to catch people during lunch or whatever. So I think I'll start it around then, and whatever we can think about, to be fun, to be cool. We'll do it then, right then, and then we'll keep the same show for for the 8 or for the 9 o'clock show. So, all right, you guys, I'm out of here. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Thank you guys for coming and joining me. Share the fuck out of it. All right, just share everything, and I will see you guys tomorrow. What's up?
Share it with your mom.
That's right, dude. Go share it to your mom, man. Post it on her Facebook. Send it out on Twitter. Whatever you got to do, get it out there, because YouTube is not sharing it for us. So if we want people to see it, we got to do it ourselves. All right. All right, you guys. I'm out of here. Cyrus, thank you. Robert, thank you, guys. I will see you guys later, tomorrow. Man. All right. All right, everybody. UFO Proof out.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. You too, buddy. Good night, you guys. Yeah, it is. It was like a super moon the other night, man. Like I was, it's must have just passed full moon, and now it's in, it's like going away. So, what up, face like a bum? Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Raphael, you doing good? When I tried to connect, hang on, let me pop up the chats. All right. Yeah.
Here, let's try something. I'm going to send something into the chat, and you tell me when you see it. All right?
There we go. Hang on a second. I got to pop the chats back. Oh, wait. I got the chat popped up right here. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sending it now.
Yeah, ready. What up, Debbie Jacobs? Nope. There you go. I just now see it.
8 seconds.
Dude. 8 seconds, man. Can you believe that? Is an 8-second delay, dude. Oh my God, that's terrible. What up, Frank? How you doing, buddy? Raphael says, when I try to connect, also feed pops up for a split second and tells me to reconnect. I think you have to keep trying, man. But obviously the link's not up there now. But when that does happen, you just have to keep trying. Apparently, that's what everyone's having problems with. Nick, cool. You remember? Thanks. I'm good, Kyle. You okay, bud? Yeah, I'm doing good, buddy. Just a little pissed off because of the stupid YouTube, and it messes with our whole little lineup and everything. But anyway,
13 viewers so far, man. It's lining up tonight.
I was hoping that it would be a little better tonight if we got started a little earlier, but what can you do? What do we get started at 7:30? Just chilling with my Rasta man, bro, Mr. Cheese. Sweet, dude. Yeah, Nick, there was just, it's always something, and like and now we just got it timed out to having an 8-second delay, man. I'm out. Be happy. My data is pants mate roll on Wednesday when they get there. See how long it takes the Skin Man, dude? What's going on, Skin Man? It takes forever for anyone to comment on here, man.
Yeah, the chat is kind of slow.
Yeah, the chats are always slow, dude. What's up, Jack? How we doing, buddy?
He's probably in a hotel bathroom, as always.
Probably. What's going on, Paul? Look how long it takes for Paul's comment to pop up. Has it popped up on your guys's yet? What up, Gyro 420? What up, Paul? There has just now popped up, dude. Oh, his popped up. Must have popped up a while ago if you just saw it.
Yeah, Subjack came there. Yeah. Warren Osmond just now.
Up for me. I see, and I don't even see that. Look how long it takes for it to pop up on mine, man. What's going on, Warren Osmond? How you doing, brother? This man can't hear you, pal. So I'm gonna lip read for a minute, then drop off as it's 3:41 a.m. here in Southampton, England. Didn't you have a problem hearing us last time?
I don't remember, but
yeah, he had the same problem last time. He couldn't hear. And I'm talking about like anybody.
That's Raphael Rules. What's up, all?
I still don't see Raphael's, man. There he goes, dude.
Yeah, I've got it here.
So you're about 5 or 7 seconds behind on the chat log.
Yeah, I'm a couple minutes behind everybody, man. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm seeing it at the same time Sarge is.
Yeah, see, that's so weird. And it takes about 5 seconds before I see it. That's how like everyone always like super chat, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I never see any. Everyone always sees this shit before I do. That's so stupid. All right, let's see here. All right, so let me get the Hangouts back up. All right, there you guys are.
Nice almost full moon down here, nice and bright tonight.
What's up, you guys? UFO Proof here, and I am joined with our friends Smooth Virus and Sergeant Shill, and we are having tonight's UFO roundtable. Unfortunately, we didn't get to start on time like we wanted to because, well, as you guys know, YouTube has been me lately, so it's been kind of a pain in the ass. Everyone's been having issues with my live, whether it's me on my end or whether it's on your guys' ends. Both of us have been having issues. People not able to sign on, people not able to comment, people not able to join the lives, people getting booted off the lives, me not being able to go live, just all kinds of bull crap. Now, I know I got a email from YouTube telling me that it was like their algorithm and that they're messing with it and that things will be back to normal soon. The computer needs time to learn and all this other crap. And so hopefully everything will be working perfectly very soon. But tonight's roundtable, we're going to be discussing these so-called mystery spheres that, apparently fall out of the sky. Some are landing in people's yards. People are finding them. And there's been a lot of claims to, what they are. Are they UFOs? Are they military? Are they NASA? What are they? And so we're going to go ahead and discuss that. What's going on, Cyrus? Smooth Virus, how you guys doing? Smooth Virus and Sergeant Shill, how you guys doing tonight?
We're good here.
Good. So
yeah,
let's
man,
begin.
definitely.
Let's see who's in the comment section real quick on YouTube so we can say
We
what's
got
up.
Skin Man and Paul so far.
All right, good. Let me take a look. Make sure I got that up so when people do come on, we can say what's up to them. All right. What's going on, Skin Man? What's going on, Paul? How you doing, buddy? Arse is out to sort my Wi-Fi G's in a little bit. All right, buddy. Good luck, Warren.
Translation.
Gotta love all that British slang. My data is pants.
Well, Chavioso, how you doing, buddy? All right, so let's get started on this. All right. So who wants to start it off, man? Well, you know what? Let's start with since I have it popped up on screen. Let's go ahead and start with the Hopkinsville goblin story because I already have that popped up sitting on screen, so I could share that instantly. So, Cyrus, why don't you go ahead and take the lead on this one?
Okay, so I did a bit of research into this a couple of years ago because I actually remember reading about this in like a UFO comic book. And I had a lot of presumptions about what kind of case this was. Real simply, and I'm just going to read this off of Wikipedia real quick. It's called the Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter, a.k.a. the Hopkinsville Goblins case or the Kelly Green Man case. It was a claimed close encounter with extraterrestrial beings in 1955 near Kelly and Hopkinsville in Christian County, Kentucky, United States. Ufologists regard it as one of the most significant and well-documented cases in the history of UFO incidents, while skeptics say the reports were due to the effects of excitement and the misidentification of natural phenomena such as meteors and owls. Psychologists have used the alleged incident as an academic example of pseudoscience to help students distinguish truth from fiction. So on the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children. That's important. Now, see, that's one thing I assumed that most of the people in the house were adults, but in fact, most of the people present were in fact children. So they arrived at the Hopkinsville police station, claiming that small alien creatures from a spaceship were attacking their farmhouse, and they had been holding them off with gunfire for nearly 4 hours. 2 of the adults, Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor, Elmer and Billy Ray.
Oh God!
see why you make all kinds of assumptions about what was going on?
Did he have a mullet?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he had a mullet, dude.
Claimed they had been shooting at 12 to 15 short, dark figures who repeatedly popped up to the doorway or peered into the windows. Concerned about a possible gun battle between local citizens, 4 city police, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police from the nearby U.S. Army Fort Campbell drove to the Sutton farmhouse located near the town of Kelly in Christian County. Their search yielded nothing apart from evidence of gunfire and holes in windows and door screens made by firearms. Residents of the farmhouse included Glennie Lankford, her children, Lonnie, Charlton, and Mary, 2 sons from her previous marriage. Oh, okay. We don't need to know everybody's names. The next day, his neighbors told officers that the 2 families had packed up and left after claiming the creatures had returned about 3:30 in the morning. The family's claims received widespread coverage in local and national press. Earlier articles did not refer to little green men. The color was later added to some newspaper stories. So the important bit is when you hear people talk about little green men, this is the very first time that term had appeared in the media. So anytime that you hear little green men coming out of flying saucers, this is the story that began all of that. That's so this case had a big effect on pop culture.
Well, that's interesting too, you know, that you would think, you know, everyone thinks, oh, little green men, so they're talking about Martians and stuff like that. However, they never mentioned little green men coming from Mars, you know, and being Martians. This obviously is where the term little green men come from. It's from this story. This went, oh, Cyrus, when was the date of this again?
August 21st, 1955.
Oh, yeah.